Okay, I wanted to share something that's kind of a little more techy, but it could be a really fun thing to add to your book, and that's a QR code. In this example, I've got this timeline that I've built for our World War I ancestor, James Kennedy Gordon. And I am going to just come in and fix this typo really quick. Isn't it nice that we can just do that versus if we were handwriting everything out? Now, in this timeline, I've got a picture of him. It says that he sails and then he's wounded in the Forest of Argonne during the Meuse-Argonne offensive. And then I've got photos of him after he's in the hospital and then he comes back home. I don't have any photos from the actual battle, which is not a huge surprise. So I want to put something here. Now I can find stock photography. I could go to the Library of Congress website and look for an image that doesn't have any copyright on it that is from there. There's lots of great options, but I don't know that my readers are going to know a lot about this battle that was kind of important. And, just reading that, oh, he went to France, then he was wounded and he came back home. It's not the same as really understanding, well, what would that have been like for a 22-year-old who'd never left Wyoming? What is that experience? So I found this YouTube video. Now, this is from American Battle Monuments, a YouTube channel, and it's designed for a visitor center at the Meuse-Argonne American Cemetery. And it gives an immersive look mixed with historical images and things like that. I'm not going to play it right now, but it's something that they created to give you a sense of what it would have been like in the offensive. Well, that's perfect. But how do I take this video, especially this video that doesn't belong to me, and put it into this book? Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a QR code, which is a square little graphic that if you hover your cell phone over it, it's going to open up a link and it would take people who are looking at this book, it would take them right to this video on their phone. So it's a way of adding this multimedia component to this World War I page. Now, to make a QR code, I'm going to be using the Adobe QR code generator. It's free to use, but the thing is you have to be signed into your Adobe account. So I'm going to copy this where I want the QR code to go. And I'm going to open up a different browser window. And I've just gone to the Adobe free QR code generator. It's not the only one out there. If you have a different QR code generator that you want to use, it's fine. I just prefer Adobe's. I'm going to hit create now. We're going to see if it's going to make me sign in, but hopefully it'll recognize that I should already be signed in this browser to Adobe. It just has to think for a second. Okay. It's going to give me this. Okay, you want to generate your QR code. And here's where I'm going to paste the URL of where I want it to go. So this is where I paste that YouTube URL. And it created this image. And now if I take my phone and I hover over this image, it's going to take me to that YouTube link. I am going to download this. And here it is on my computer right next to these images that I just downloaded or just uploaded to Canva. I'm going to go back to our family tree book. I'm over here in the upload files, the same way that you add a photo. And I'm just going to upload this QR code. It's going to take a second. And then I can just drag this in just like I would a photo and I can resize it. You can actually make it pretty small and your phone's still going to be able to recognize it. So I'm just going to put it right here. Now, if I wanted to, I could copy this text and then, put a little text over here explaining that if they wanted to hover over this, it's going to take them to that battle. But I actually think this is pretty self-explanatory. Now, that's not the only place that you can use a QR code, of course. You could put a QR code over here if you wanted to link to something else. You can link directly to, say, somebody's Fold 3 profile or a special record or something, but you have to remember that some of those records will only be accessible to you if they're membership records. And so if you're paying for a Fold 3 membership, linking to a record that's behind the paywall won't help anybody that's not signed into Fold 3. And also, in the past, I had linked to records that were on Family Search because that's free and open. But then as Family Search's library changes, sometimes those links do update and then the links broke in the books that I had made. So you have to be careful with that. I mean, if that person takes down the YouTube video, then that link won't go anywhere. But the YouTube video has a couple million views. It's from, this official place. and I think it's probably going to be around for a while. Another thing that you could do with the QR code is you could put it here on a person's profile, and then you could link to, say, a folder on Google Drive where you've put all of their records and their photos and maybe a list of the source citations. I did that recently for a mini book. I actually put the QR code all the way at the beginning of the book on this page where it says, the book was prepared by whoever and it was finished on this date. I put the QR code right here, and that linked back to folders for everybody that was in the book. And that also had all of the source citations because the book was so short. I didn't want to put the source citations right in the book. It's totally up to you. I know that there are some genealogists, especially professional genealogists, who'd be horrified to hear that I made a book that didn't have the actual source citations printed in it. But again, because of my audience, because of what the purpose of the book was, I didn't want to put all of that in there. So I just included it using a QR code that links to a folder that I'm going to keep on my Google Drive. So QR codes can do a lot. You could link to music, you could link to a photo gallery. You could even use that to link to a thing that says, hey, email me if you have questions, and then that can open up an email, going to your email address. So you aren't limited at all because you can put any link you want and turn it into a QR code. So I wanted to include that. I think it's a fun thing to think about putting into your book, especially because you can be so creative with it. And I hope that helps.